Elon may be walking away with $250 million, that's with a B, bucks, when all is said and done. But was mediation the reason for the large settlement? Here to explain this divorce decision, master of mediation herself, and what the heck, master of the universe, Lori Clark Viviano. It's Friday, and we can get a lot with on a Friday.
I love that. Master of the universe.
Master of the universe.
Except I'm not master of my cold.
Oh, okay. We'll try to work on that. Mediation, for folks that don't know what that is, how is that different from divorce, technically and financially?
Well, the thing is, you brought up Tiger Woods. Obviously, when you talk litigation, you're in a courtroom in front of a judge, and it's a public forum. You can't close a courtroom, unless you file pleadings. So everybody gets to hear your business. If you do, and, there's distinctions between, negotiations and mediation, but obviously they're negotiating a deal. And to me, it's a lot better because, I've been doing this now going to my 21st year, and what I tell clients is if you negotiate a deal, rarely do you go back to court. If you go in a courtroom and you duke it out, everybody feels like they either won or lost, and so it creates, the next battle, the next round, as I call it. So it's much better to do it the way they're doing it.
There was a lot of speculation. Would she stay? Would she go? What would happen? In your opinion, doing it this way, how is that going to allow them to maybe have more privacy?
Well, not only is it more privacy, but you have to understand from the court's point of view. The court's point of view, they can only do certain things. They can't be creative. They can't go outside of the box. So when you go into mediation, you can do all kinds of interesting things because it's between the two people.
There was talk that she wanted to take the kids and move to her home country of Sweden. In a mediation, how do you address things like that?
You can. You address it the same way. You sit down, you come up with something that works for everybody. I think the thing is if you can go to mediation, it's much better because you can negotiate. You can say, fine, how about if you live in Sweden for 6 months, but you agree that when I'm on this tour, you come back, or when I'm not on tour. Whereas if you're in a litigation situation, what you really have to do, if you think about it, is say negative things about someone.
Yeah.
Well, of course I should go to Sweden because he's busy out doing all kinds of things and not parenting. And then it starts becoming very adversarial. I think people should try out mediation. If it doesn't work, you can always switch to litigation.
One of the benefits that we were talking about with mediation is it's so much less expensive.
Sure, because what happens is I hand you documents and you look at them. In litigation, I request them in a production of documents, then you have to produce them in a production of documents, and you just increase the cost by about 4 times. The other thing I tell people is if you can mediate 5 issues and litigate 3, that's more, more economical.
Starting out mediating, it may work for couples and it may not, but if you get into that situation and you're going through a mediator, you were saying that you tend to find that it's not as adversarial and the energy is less controversial.
Well, the misnomer that everybody has is, let's say you and I are in mediation. You can have your own lawyer, I can have my own lawyer, and there's a mediator. When I mediate cases, what I always say to people is, neither one of you can use me, because once I'm a mediator, I can't then represent one or the other, because I'm supposed to be staying as neutral as possible.
Now, does that mediator have to be an attorney?
No, but I wouldn't recommend that. There are people out there that do it, and if you want some advice, the problem is, that's when you're trying to cut corners. If you're going to try and be more economical, then have someone draft your marital settlement agreement and have a lawyer review it.
Things that, if people obviously want to come to you and get some help in mediation, what are some qualities you would look for in an excellent mediator?
I think you have to pick the right personality for the group. Like we were talking ahead of time and you said, you've had some friends that felt bullied by the mediator. Well, that's not going to work. If someone picks a bully, then what happens is the person's going to back out of mediation, so it was a waste of time. You need to figure out what personality is going to work for the two of you.
What dynamic is going to gel with everything.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, Lori Clark Viviano has such good advice for all sorts of topics, and you can call her. Oh, she does take her calls. She does. 619-296-1594. Even when you have a cold, you take your calls?
Even when I have a cold.
Yeah, you just sound a little stuffy. Well, have a good Memorial Day weekend. Get some rest and come back all healing and healthy.
Thank you.
Good to have you on today.